Stop
let,
putting up
let me
black.
ask you this, unpopular politics.
The birther
So,
conspiracies.
so
But
do you feel like the president's post yesterday was racist?
If it was racist,
Yes.
I
You know, the
I think
Obama and
I
Michelle
think
Obama being monkeys. Was it racist?
I think it was
Or just
very
a
important.
shot at Obama? Just,
No,
you
no,
know,
no, no,
just a
no,
regular
no, no.
presidential
Here's
shot.
what I think. Here's what I think. I think it was inappropriate, right? But I think in the
Wow.
environment that we have now, where the bar has been set so low, right?
Well, who set that
And
bar that low?
hey, listen to me, fellas. This is about the third time I keep getting cut off when I'm making a point. Let me make my point, okay? First, okay, I'll take your question. When Donald Trump came on the scene, here's what people decided was okay, right? The California Democrat Party. I've never heard this happen before. The California Democrat Party was leading a crowd in a chant of F. Donald Trump, with Nancy Pelosi standing right behind her, Hilda Sully standing to the right. F. Donald Trump, F. Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump's daughter went on a plane harassed by people because she's the daughter of Donald Trump, okay? Magazines refused to dress Melania, fashion designers refused to dress Melania Trump because they even put it out, do not dress Melania Trump because she's the wife of Donald Trump, right? Every type of
But
behavior.
hold on one second.
how
unpopular
many
politics.
outlets called the Obama twins ugly?
Hold on, Jim. The question was, did you think that the post that he made was it racist? That was
Okay,
the
so
question.
I'm coming back to okay, so I'm coming back to you. Here's what I think. I think it has racist connotations, but I do not think it's racist.
There's a conversation to be had.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
Yo, welcome back for another episode of the Conversation to Be Had podcast. I'm your host, Charlo. That's my co-host, Rashawn. And we're in here today celebrating Black History Month and with another topic. Today, what's the topic, Rashawn?
I think we're talking about, will America ever elect another black president?
Okay, I was just trying to check and see if he was up on it. Yeah. Will America ever elect another black president, man or woman? So we're going to bring in our panel. What's up, guys?
Fellas.
Hey, what's going on?
What up?
So today's topic, we're going to get into will America ever elect another black president, man or woman? But before we even get into that, some things happened recently with Donald Trump and our former, our only other black president, where he reposted some pretty racial things. So it was ironic that we were doing this. It was right before we were doing this show. So we got to talk about it. But I'll start it off with this. Do you think the Obama presidency help or hurt the chances of another black president being elected? We'll start with you, our new guest, Unpopular Politics.
Oh, okay. I don't think that it helped or hurt. My opinion is that I think what it did was, so from my perspective, right, what the Democrat Party does a lot is talk about race. And then after that, they talk about race some more, right? And so when Barack Obama came on the scene, everybody was hopeful and thought that this was going to be something really special. I remember the euphoria when Obama was elected, and I didn't vote for the guy, but I felt good about it, because when I first came to America, one of the things I would hear people say all the time is, "Oh man, the last obstacle to overcome, a black president." Colin Powell was the Secretary of State. We had Condoleezza Rice as the secretary a couple of years later. We had black people in prominent positions, but couldn't seem to break through to the presidency. So when Barack Obama came on the scene, I was hopeful that this time around, people would stop complaining about race all the time. And when they didn't, I didn't attribute it to hatred of Obama or anything. I said to myself, what is happening now is just more of the same. And when Obama started his term, it went from, "Oh, we finally did it," to every criticism of him being his race. Everything was about his race. And then I said to myself, well, this is just the way it is. I didn't like it. I wish it would change, because I thought to myself, this guy has a real great opportunity here to show America as being a great place, and look what we could accomplish. And in my mind, he didn't do that. But that's because that didn't hurt, and it didn't help. And it's not necessarily because he was black. I think it's just because he didn't do a good job in terms of trying to unite everybody. I hope I didn't go on for too long. I blabber a bit there.
No, you're fine. Absolutely. No, that was good. Okay. What about you, V?
Yeah, I think that it honestly helped more than it hurt. I didn't agree with everything that he did. I do think that history will remember some of the things that he did positively, like with healthcare. But I also think history, even now, does not really show how hard he had it. And it's particularly in Congress, where he was one of the most filibustered presidents up until that time. You were talking about up until him, there was something like 100 filibusters, including for judicial appointments, and he had 100 himself. The Congress, literally Mitch McConnell said his job was to make Obama a one-term president, and so he tried to work across aisle. If you remember, he tried to actually get universal health care, and then he backed off of that and really passed Romney Care, which is really what Obamacare is, trying to get Republican support, but he couldn't get Republican support in anything, in things that even Republicans supported themselves in previous administrations. Things that Reagan supported, like, for example, the reduction of nuclear weapons. When Obama did it, they called him soft on world affairs, but that was what Reagan did, and they called Reagan a superhero. So, the things that he did were evaluated very differently. And then you had right-wing news sources like Fox News that would talk about him horribly. Like, for example, they called Michelle Obama his baby's mama when she was his wife. That was his only wife. Trump has had 3 different wives and 5 different children, I think, or something like that. And they referred to him as a family values president. So I think Obama had a really hard starting point, and I think he accomplished what he could for that period of time. I wish he did a lot more, but I also understand that he was handed, honestly, a situation where it was almost like a no-win situation. But what he was handed with, I think he did a good enough job where people won't say, "I will never vote for another black president." At least that's my opinion.
Okay.
Okay.
Doc?
Yeah, complex question, complex answer. But in short, I think that before he was elected, there was a lot of hope and promise, and there wasn't a strong resistance. I think that his election, although it broke barriers, it also woke up a resistance, and it woke up the big group of people who are fighting very hard to preserve white majority status, white rule, and prevent white minority status. So it's going to be a lot harder for minorities in the future simply because of that. As people have mentioned before, there was a lot of opposition. It didn't feel like there was as much opposition during his campaign. Maybe they didn't think he was going to win. But once he won, that opposition was like a sleeping giant. And that's what we've been, seeing evolve into the Trump movement. So it's going to be a lot harder for number two. Obama was number one. I feel like he did the best that he could in terms of what he tried to accomplish working within the framework of the predecessors. He did not bend as many rules and make as many, nuances and other things that, he didn't set a lot of precedents, as many as what we're seeing now. And he could have done more if he was willing to bend the rules and set more precedents, but he was sort of hamstrung by history with that one. But it is going to be harder for us to see another one in the future, simply because of the opposition that he inspired.
Okay, all right. What about you,
Hey, before
Jim?
you move on to somebody else, can I interject? May I?
Sure. Yes, sir.
Right.
Okay. So, and the only reason I'm interjecting is I'm listening to what people are saying, and I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes as people talk, right? And I don't want to pile up a whole bunch of notes and then have a whole lot of points to make, right? So one of the things I want to talk about is that Michelle Obama herself described herself as Barack Obama's baby mama, right? And I heard people pick up after that, right? I don't like the term, I really don't, but she described herself as his baby mama. She was joking when she said it, and the fact that Fox News took it up. Fox News as an organization didn't take it up, but maybe somebody came on and did the same, and I think that's a big difference, right? Mitch McConnell said to himself that he'll make it his desire, his goal to make Obama a one-term president. Well, that's the job of the opposition, to make the guy who's seated in power a one-termer. Right? And I would remind everybody about the opposition that George Bush faced. If you remember, every day, I wasn't a fan. Well, I was a fan of him then. I wasn't a fan of him after, right? If you remember, George Bush every single day was ridiculed in the news. He was the dummy. He was the most stupid president. He didn't know what he was doing. Every misspoken word was proof of how stupid he was. After supporting the war, after Democrats and Republicans supporting the war, all of a sudden, the war was like their way of getting rid of George Bush, and they would not stop criticizing Bush. And it was not just on policy. Bush was personally attacked in the news by his opposition every single day. This guy was an idiot. And that was the big thing about Bush. He was an idiot. And they stressed that. They stressed it, right? The next thing that I picked up on is Obama was opposed.
What's the point? Well,
Say again?
I don't understand what the point of that statement was.
Oh, that statement is to say that presidents get criticized, and the criticism of Obama wasn't anything unusual. I think, in fact, Obama was protected because every time people came out and said anything about him, the news media ran to his defense. In fact, when a guy by the name of I forgot what's his name, when Obama was giving one of his addresses in Congress, he shouted, "You lie!" Anybody remember that?
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, unpopular.
Let me make the point first, though. Let me make the point first. So you get the point. When that guy shouted, "You lie," he spent the next 4 years apologizing. Everywhere he went, he had to apologize. But now that's the norm.
But you just said something I want to refute.
Go ahead.
Totally. You said that the the way they talked about Obama and his presidency was the same way they talked about every president. and I totally disagree with that.
Okay.
What president did we question his nationality? Which president besides Obama did we question his nationality? His even qualifications because of his race to be president. Which president besides Obama did we question that?
His religion as well.
Right.
Okay, so I'll answer this by saying they questioned John McCain during the campaign. They questioned John McCain because he was born in Germany, and they questioned him being born in Germany. That happened during the campaign itself. And second, you have to remember that the whole birther movement thing started with a Pennsylvania lawyer who was I forgot his name, Philip Berg or something. He was a Pennsylvania lawyer. One of his claims to fame was that he belonged to the Pennsylvania NAACP, right? And he actually filed a lawsuit to stop Obama from running, and he was a Democrat, and that was before the whole thing became a big thing. Now, some years earlier, there was another guy when Obama was running in Illinois who brought it up also, and that guy was a Republican. This was back in 2004, but before he was a Republican, he was a Democrat. You know what I mean? And the whole Muslim thing started with a guy who was running against Obama in Illinois also, who was also a Democrat. So, you know.
I worked with a person, and I won't say his name. I hope the bastard sees this somehow, because I could care less about him. But he was a person that ran a company that I worked for, and he was a white male Republican in the state of New Hampshire, proud Bush supporter, proud gun owner. I think I worked with him for the first maybe 3.5 to 4 years of Obama's presidency. And he used to just casually walk around this office, and this was not an all-white workplace by any stretch of the imagination. It's southern New Hampshire, right on the border, and we are right next to some heavy Hispanic communities, and we had a lot of Hispanic workers. This man used to just walk around the office and casually refer to Barack Obama as the Muslim in the White House, very derisively, and no other president had to endure that sort of targeted misdirected as well, because I don't believe Barack Obama is a Muslim, but no, none of them had to deal with that kind of targeted form of hatred. What I'll say about that, and just kind of my opening statement, is that based on the demographics and divide in this country, I don't think, I've certainly never run into somebody that I thought would have voted for Obama that would not vote for an African American now, if that statement makes sense. This is, and I'll probably end up hopping over to this topic at some point. I think the African American that just lost an election, I don't think that had a damn thing to do with that person being African American. I think it had to do with horrific political strategy on the part of the DNC in an old playbook. I absolutely think that an African American could win an election. I think an African American could, once again, pretty easily, the right person, win a DNC primary and a national election if they were using a playbook and a policy that appealed to liberal and left voters. And I think that was the stumble in this last election, is the Kamala Harris started off very well. She came off as young and vibrant and energetic, and she came off as sassy at times. And the first month and a half of her campaign, she came off as young and vibrant, and I don't want to reduce Black culture to dancing and marching bands, but you've had these videos of her dancing and her in like drum lines and people like that. And then with about 3 weeks until the election, she started talking about Israel and was on stage waving with the Cheneys. So.
Okay. All right. Well, let's keep it going. Jesus.
Yeah,
Okay, I
that's a
just
lot.
smelled it. This smells
Shoot.
I don't know who that is. There's no one in this room. So I don't know who that was, but that's a lot to digest. First off, just to backtrack, John McCain was born on a naval base in Panama. If you're military, I was military. I had a son who was born overseas. You're born on a military base, you're an American citizen. That's just political rhetoric that they use. So yes, that did happen. I'm not saying that didn't happen. I was just saying it was Panama, not Germany. But you're a citizen regardless. So first off, ever's a long time. So I'm going to say yes, there will be another black president. It'll be a Spanish one. There's going to be a woman at some point. I think black woman was not in the cards. I think that played a lot into the way people voted. If you take a look outside right now of what's going on, these people are supporting what's going on. I don't think they were interested in a black woman, no matter what her policy was. That's just where I live. I think Obama, what he did was he broke the ceiling. And I remember when he won, I was happy. I'm Puerto Rican, but I'm from Chicago. I was like, yo, the ceiling is broke. This is a big deal. When inauguration day, I had real tears because I knew that my boys at the time, I got a little boy and a little girl now, so I have 4 total. At the time, I thought, oh, Supreme Court Justice is up there now. President is up there. All the things are up there. The sky is no longer the limit. And so do I think there'll be another? I think there will. Do I think Obama hurt things? I don't think he did. I think you look back at every president we've ever had, policy or not, this man was by far the most professional. He was the classiest, for crying out loud. Rashawn, you know I'm going to say it. He wore a tan suit one day, and that made the news. That was enough. That's how far people were about him being, his last name being Obama, his father being born in another country, the whole birther thing. So I think there will be another. I think he set the bar for what presidents should be. I think the 2 after him were trash. They put the bar. Right now, the bar, there is none. It's on the ground. If you can breathe, you got a shot. And so all that to say, I think there'll be another. And yes, no, I don't think he hurt things. I think he inspired. Now, you can equate that to help or not. I would look at it as glass half full.
Okay. Yeah. So this is a lot to digest. I would say that I don't think Obama hurt the chances of another black president. But I don't think he erased the obstacles either. You know what I mean? He did, like, absolutely what Jesus said. He broke the ceiling, but the system underneath basically stayed mostly the same, in my opinion. You know, I was like you, Jesus. I mean, when I saw it happen, I never thought in my lifetime I was going to see a black president. So, you know, I was in awe. You know, I was in tears, mostly too. You know, so it was beautiful. But like I said, he did break a huge barrier. I do think that what's going on right now, what we're seeing is what I like to call white backlash. We see this every time, people of color or make any type of headway. There's 2 steps forward and 1 step back. You saw it after the slaves were freed. You saw it after Reconstruction, the Civil War. You saw it after the Civil Rights era. We're seeing that now. And I agree, Jesus. I didn't like Biden. I didn't like Kamala. I didn't like Trump. You know, but I believe that a lot of the reason why Trump is where he's at is because we're experiencing a period of white backlash. That's what I would say. You know, as far as that. But yes, I do believe that we will see, like you said, a woman president, a Hispanic president, another black president. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I apologize, but there was one key point I wanted to say. Earlier, it was mentioned that Democrats harp on race, and I do believe they do. But in
Oh, absolutely.
the case of Barack Obama, people were outright racist toward this man. So in that
Dang,
instance,
Jesus,
that,
you just took all my shine, bro. I was
sorry,
getting ready
sorry,
to
sorry, but
doggone it,
I-
man.
that 8-year stretch, Democrats definitely had the race card to talk about, because everything this man, like I said, he wore a tan suit and it was on the news. Like, so, but yes, in general, it's the same cards, because the elections are about emotions. It's not about tangibles. They get people on emotional stuff, and then they go do what they want. With that, I yield.
And real quick, Chalo. And you know, for me, when I think of the Democrat, the Republican Party, I think of something that. So my father, he grew up in the South and the North, right? And so I asked my father one time. I said, "Hey, where did you like better?" Now, naturally, I thought he was going to say the North. He was like, "No, I like the South better." I'm like, "Why?" He said, "At least there you knew who was racist." And that's how I look at the Republican and Democrat Party. The Republicans, they'll let you know, hey, where they stand. Whereas the Democrats, it's hidden with them. Because I do believe that there's racism in both parties, absolutely. But the Democrats keep theirs hidden, whereas Republicans are more outspoken with theirs. But yeah, anyway, go ahead, Chalo. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna touch on like when he started unpopular politics started off with the racist that the whole term was revolved around race, and I think in a sense, yeah, well, it couldn't help but be because that was the first black president. So all of his accomplishments, like, are significant because he's the first. I mean, it's just like Jackie Robinson will always be the first to do a lot of things because he was the first black player to play, Major League Baseball. It just it's the way it is. You can't erase it. And like for me to be able to tell my son, you could be president someday, that's a good feeling. That, I mean, yeah, it is about race when you think about it. Like, we've broken a barrier, and that's important. You can't dismiss it as, oh, well, just think of him as a regular guy that got elected. He's not. He's the first black president to be elected, and you can't dismiss that because you don't want it to be about race. It totally is, because if it wasn't, we'd have had one way before now. You understand what I'm saying? So I mean, you can dismiss it if you want, but I mean, it's totally in the atmosphere. It's there. So
Okay, so here's what I'd like to say about that. Naturally, you recognize firsts, right? And again, I didn't vote for Obama, but I was happy as a black man. I'm like, oh, okay, good. We'll get rid of all the talk. But what I'm not talking about simply about how everything became about race when he did something good. I'm saying every criticism of him was regarded as being racist. You could hardly criticize Barack Obama without somebody calling you a racist. And earlier, I was giving the example of when that guy shouted out, "You lie," and how that was treated like a national emergency. And this guy had to spend the next 4 years apologizing simply because he was indiscreet. And I'm saying, I will join you in calling him out. But what I refuse to do is make it an example of how everybody felt, right? And for my friend over here, Jim, I don't doubt that this guy went around calling Obama the Muslim president and was being disrespectful or whatever it was. What I'm saying to you is, let us point out specific instances of racism and
That's one of
and
them, though. I mean, again, I am in New England, where, as Rashawn said, if you're going to run into racists, they're usually a little more covert about it around here. And this was in
Not in
a
Boston.
right, yeah. Well, usually in Boston,
Keep it a buck.
yeah,
Well,
the
well,
loud ones are very loud, but as a general rule, it's going to be a little more covert than the gentleman waving the Confederate flag off of his trailer in Alabama. And again, these were people, even up here where it's usually a little more covert, people were pretty comfortable walking around saying some pretty awful shit out loud. And I witnessed it. And these are things that I did not witness a heck of a lot growing up in a very mixed race area. So,
okay, so here's what I'll say about that, okay? I'm not doubting you, okay? Again, I'll say let's call out specific instances of racism and just let us stop putting up
Let me
black.
ask you this: unpopular politics.
the birther
So,
conspiracies.
so
But
do you feel like the president's post yesterday was racist?
If it was racist,
Yes.
I
You know, the
I
Obama
think
and
I
Michelle
think
Obama being monkeys. Was it racist?
I think it was
Or just
very
a
important.
shot at Obama? Just
No, 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 no,
just a
no,
regular
no, no.
presidential
Here's
shot.
what I think. Here's what I think. I think it was inappropriate, right? But I think in the
Wow.
environment that we have now, where the bar has been set so low, right?
But who set that
And
bar that low?
hey, listen to me, fellas. This is about the third time I keep getting cut off when I'm making a point. Let me make my point, okay? First, okay, I'll take your question. When Donald Trump came on the scene, here's what people decided was okay, right? The California Democrat Party. I've never heard this happen before. The California Democrat Party was leading a crowd in a chant of F. Donald Trump, with Nancy Pelosi standing right behind her, Hilda Sully standing to the right. F. Donald Trump, F. Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump's daughter went on a plane harassed by people because she's the daughter of Donald Trump, okay? Magazines refused to dress Melania, fashion designers refused to dress Melania Trump because they even put it out, do not dress Melania Trump because she's the wife of Donald Trump, right? Every type of
But
behavior.
hold on one second.
how
Unpopular
many
politics.
outlets
The
called the
que-
Obama twins ugly?
hold on, Jim. The question was, did you think that the post that he made was it racist? That was
Okay,
the
so
question.
I'm coming back to okay, so I'm coming back to you. Here's what I think. I think it has racist connotations, but I do not think it's racist. I think it's Trump being the provocateur that he is, going to extremes to show, hey, I'm going to do the stuff that I know will rile you up, right? And again, in the current environment, here's what I'm more concerned about. Like I was telling my guy Rashawn earlier, I don't care what if anybody was to put up if somebody was to put up a video showing two black people, whoever it was, as monkeys. I'd say, look, don't do it. It's not my style. I don't want it. But I'm not going to feel offended on behalf of the entire black race and start acting like I'm so offended by it. I'd say it was inappropriate. What I'm more concerned about, and I mentioned this to Rashad when I sent him my piece, you know what I'm more concerned about? I'm more concerned about policy from the government that is actually racist, you know? And when Joe Biden made it a point and he said he's putting a black woman to run as his running mate, I'm more concerned about that. When he says he's looking at a black woman for the Supreme Court, which by extension means nobody, regardless of how qualified, if you're Asian, if you're a man, if you're anything but a black woman, you will not be considered by Joe Biden to fill a Supreme Court seat. That's what I'm worried about. Some idiot putting up a meme on Facebook with a monkey meme. I could care less about that.
But it's not that. It's the hold on 1 second, up, Papa. I'll let you go on for a long time. It's not that, bro. It's the president of the United States of America making a caricature calling the ex-president and first lady of the United States of America a monkey. You're trying to dismiss it as two video gamers going back and forth shooting memes at each other, and it's not that, bro. It's. Are you an American citizen?
No, I'm not. I mean,
Okay,
yes, I am.
okay.
No, hold on. I am. I answered. I answered to the question whether I'm American born, but I am an American citizen.
Okay. Well, I'm an American born citizen who's black too. And I feel like if you think that black people are monkeys, then you shouldn't be my president. That's how I feel. And I'm not taking up for, I'm not taking up for all of black people and I'm taking up for me. I don't feel like you should be, if you think I'm a monkey, you shouldn't be my leader. Or anybody else who's the same color as me. You shouldn't be their leader if we're monkeys, because we're not even people.
That's an
and if you can be the leader of the free world and talk and do stuff like that, and you support that, I
don't support it. I don't support it.
You just minimalized it and try to make it like it wasn't even really a big deal.
Yeah,
it really wasn't racist. I mean, actually, you said it had overtones, but it wasn't racist. That was your exact words.
But that doesn't mean that I support
racist
that doesn't mean that I support
in
it.
a Klan newspaper in '57.
I'm gonna be honest to you. Like when you said that, like what he's saying, like I could see some old like racist white dude saying it like that. Like it kind of shocked me coming out of a black dude's mouth that it had racist overtones, but it wasn't racist when it clearly was. I mean, that would be an excuse. That would be an excuse that old racist dude would make. That's why it was shocking to me. It just.
Let me
Can I respond?
Go ahead.
Let me add something, because there's a lot that you said that doesn't really add up. One, the Republican Party is the very party that told a woman in Indiana that her store, they can sell to whoever they want, whenever they want. That's their right. So if they don't want to sell it to Melania, they don't have to. And they don't even have to give a reason. That's America. That's freedom in America. You could walk into a bakery and say, I want something, and for no reason they could say, I don't want to serve you, and that's that. That's what America is. So secondly, I can understand that, it's outrageous that they would go in California and say these bad things about Trump if Trump just showed up yesterday and we had no history of him. But we knew that he kept minorities and got sued for that, for the housing stuff in New York. We knew that he was running Miss Teen USA pageants and going into those locker rooms when those young ladies were naked. We knew that he said grab them we knew all those things before he became president. So if a group of people says F this dude, they had reason. It wasn't like this dude showed up one day and like, hey guys, I'm an American. No, they knew he dodged the draft. There was history behind Donald Trump. So for people to say F this dude, like that's where you should use your principle of maybe it's not that big of a deal. But when you put a picture of black people on monkeys, that is, I don't care what the context is, you do not do that and say, well, it kind of towed the line. Like I know people in real life, if you did that to them in real life, it might be like saying the N-word to somebody in real life. That's probably the last words you might say. So when it's coming from the president, it's not Joe. It's not Billy over here at the corner store. It's the president of the United States. And all the kids, all the people are going to read about this guy. And this guy is making fun of another president. So I just feel like I hear what you're trying to say. I feel like the principles and just the freedoms that America have are oddly tucked into your rebuttal.
Kind of to stack on top of that a little bit, just about what we know about Donald Trump. We knew a lot about Donald Trump before he was interested in being a politician. He was not interested in being a politician, not particularly for a very long time. He got very interested in being a politician when a black man got elected to be president, and he could boost those fake birther conspiracies. That is how he became a politician. That is how he became a presidential candidate, because he was absolutely outraged. I believe, Rashawn, what was the term you used? Like the white blowback or
White backlash.
right? Yeah, and that's like his political career. Oh my God, a black guy got elected president. He wasn't born here, and now I want to be president because this black guy is president. So when they were following him around California, screaming at him, F Donald Trump, they knew all this.
I got a question, just honestly. So I agree, like with you, unpopular. In a perfect world, I don't think race should matter. You know what I mean? Like I think I kind of get a sense of what you're saying when you were talking about how Joe Biden said that he was going to elect the black Supreme Court justice and all that kind of stuff. And I get what you're saying, where you're like, race shouldn't matter. It should just be the best person for the job should get the job. You're absolutely correct on that. But I also think that, you know, we have to look at some of the reasons why a president would make a statement like that. It's just an honest question. Do you think that maybe that the best haven't always been hired because of race? So maybe there were a lot of black candidates out there that were Supreme Court, that could have been Supreme Court justices, that could have been presidents, that could have been vice presidents, are passed over because they're black. Do you think that could be maybe a possibility as to why you have somebody like a Joe Biden making a statement like that?
It's a possibility, but I'm saying anyone could say, hey, the reason that we didn't have this or we didn't have that is because of color. I'm saying you have to show this, right? And I'm saying that the way to correct racism is not by more racism. Choose a Supreme Court justice strictly on merit and nothing more. And if it is, and I'm saying, if it is that that a black Supreme Court is not necessarily the most qualified based on whatever criteria you have, let that be an incentive for black judges and black people to do better. Let them strive to be better. Because by giving them favors, it doesn't encourage excellence. So if it is that you have, and get the point I'm making, okay? I'm not saying that this is how it is. I'm saying, but if it is that you have 10 black Supreme Court candidates, and none of them is the best qualified, I do not care that there's not many black people represented on the Supreme Court. I'm saying choose the best candidate. And I want to go back to this.
Hold on.
Wait. I need to rebut that for a moment.
Yeah, I need to rebut it. You guys rebutted it quite a bit. How do you strive your way? How do you strive your way against Jim Crow, segregation, and all the economic upside down disadvantages that people have had? You can't say strive your way to excellence and overcome the hundreds of years of inequalities that people have had to struggle through. It doesn't make sense to say you want the best candidate. This isn't an IQ test where you're measuring on one quality and you say, oh, well, this person must be the best. These positions that we're looking for are complex in nature. And what we're looking for is a representative body to represent the country. And if the Jim Crow laws of the past aren't enough evidence for you that there's been inequalities in the way that these positions of power have been chosen, I guess I'm not sure what country you're looking at. We've got centuries of evidence that white was right. All the women weren't allowed, minorities weren't allowed. And stronger action has to be taken than just encouraging people kindly to strive for the best, to create a body of leaders that represent the nation.
Let me just add, and you were 100% right, Doc. All I want to add is that when Biden said, I'm looking for, whether it's a woman or whether it's a black woman, remember that a lot of times they were never even an option, right? So when he said, I want a black woman on the Supreme Court, it was because black women were never even considered to be even an option, no matter how good they were in the past. And Doc, you mentioned Jim Crow laws. Well, imagine if you had a black person during Plessy versus Ferguson. Perhaps that could have changed some opinions. The reason to have diverse opinions is because you have different life experience, different things you bring to the table. It is not simply reading from a book like, okay, there's this Constitution and I know exactly what the interpretation is. No, there's all sorts of different things that you have from different life experience, from different education values, from different things that we all have because of our differences. And yes, race is part of that. Sometimes it's sexual orientation that's part of that. And that's why Biden said for this position, I want to try to get someone from the LGBT community, because for hundreds of years, they were never even allowed to be part of the conversation. And so what he was trying to do is be inclusive. He wasn't simply saying, I'm not going to allow anyone else to be here, because there was already 6 or 7 other guys that already there. So why add another 8, number 8 or 9? He was trying to say, we already have enough of a white man, whatever, on this, in this particular area. Let's add a little diversity here. It wasn't that he was simply shouting out everyone else, because they were already there.
One of the things I hear with these discussions about, like, oh, he said he was going to hire a black woman or this. Did he hire anyone unqualified? No. If you look at, I don't like Kamala Harris, but if you look at her resume, it is glowing. She has a huge resume. Ketanji Brown Jackson is qualified to do her job. And there's this perception, and you will hear like Tucker Carlson say, well, not to be racist, but if I get on the plane and see a black pilot, that pilot is qualified. Nobody gets hired to be a pilot because they are black. Nobody gets hired to be an air traffic controller because they're black. The black air traffic controller had to do the same goddamn thing to be an air traffic controller as the white guy. And it's an extremely difficult friggin' job. So there's now this creeping sentiment that when you see an African-American person or a Hispanic person or a woman or a trans person or anyone that doesn't look like me in any type of job, that person somehow got a leg up. And it's incorrect. The people doing these jobs, Kamala Harris was qualified to be the vice president, like her or not. Ketanji Brown Jackson is qualified to be a Supreme Court justice, like her or not. These people are qualified to do their jobs.
Yeah, the easiest example is Jackie Robinson. That's the easiest. It's just a super basic, everybody can understand. Black people weren't given the chance. And when Jackie came, he wasn't there just because his skin was that color. He was the coldest motherfucker on the field. Like, he was good. He belonged so much that baseball said, how many, just like in football, how many white cornerbacks do you know?
One. Cooper Rush.
You see, yeah.
Go ahead, brother.
Here's the
problem.
I
thought you said cornerback. Oh, he said quarterback. I'm sorry. I thought you said quarterback. Corner. Yeah, he said quarterback.
No, he's a wide receiver. He's a wide receiver.
Yeah, he's a receiver. Corner
Oh
is
no,
the
you
guy that guards the receivers that
No,
run.
no,
yeah,
no,
Cooper
you
Rush.
said
No, you're thinking of Riley Cooper.
Cooper
That's not a
Rush
good
is
example.
Cooper Rush is the backup. He was the backup quarterback for the
I got the
Dallas
wrong
Cowboys.
guy. I know. Riley. I'm thinking the other guy.
I thought you were talking about Cooper
My
Cup.
bad. That's my bad. I totally messed that up. My bad. I'm popular. I think I over talk you, brother.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right. Hey, I needless to say, I disagree, right? First of all, everybody in this chat right here, people tell me it's because I'm a foreigner, I think this way. But I've been in America for at least 30 years. I'm not saying that you say that. I'm saying that I've had that. People say it's because I'm a foreigner that I think this way. But I've been here for at least 30 years. So that gives me the experience of at least a 30-year-old young black man, right? And I'm saying to you that there is nothing that I want to do that I have to overcome white privilege or anything like that. Because I think the opportunity to do whatever it is I want to do is always there. Now I'm an old man now, right? And so although I feel like a 20-year-old, I don't have the time of a 20-year-old. I don't think there's anything stopping me because I see systems in place everywhere I look. You have a Department of Labor to combat against stereotypes in the workplace. You have HR departments everywhere that are constantly briefing their people. Hey, you have to be more inclusive. You have to do this. Businesses can be sued. Many of them have been, like IHOP and many others have been sued for millions of dollars. We have so many systems in place that combat racism. So that if I wanted to do something and somebody was to try to stop me because I'm a black man, if I get the idea that they're trying to stop me because I'm a black man, you know what I have to do? I just have to get a lawyer who's willing to represent me pro bono, all right? Because it's easy to bring these issues before the right people to combat issues like racism and prejudice, right?
So
I've
let me ask you, where did you grow up in America then? Like you said you came over here. So when you
Okay.
came over, like where'd you grow up?
Okay. So I came to New York City back in 1996. Spent a couple of years in Florida. Then I joined the military, and I moved around with the military. I was in Germany for about 13 years. And what you're gonna say that's not America, but here's what I'm telling you. Everywhere I went to work every day was with Americans, and I lived in American communities. All right. So my dealings on a daily basis was with America, right?
And okay, so I'm keeping on you on this same track because I want to know about this. So
That's
in
right.
these communities that you lived in,
Yeah.
if you experienced racism, all you had to do was get a lawyer and he took care of it.
Yeah, because there are mechanisms in place to prevent it. So in the military,
Okay, well, like let me just tell you, in most communities of color, it does not work like